The organization that we work with is Helps International, and they have a school in Santa Avelina, Guatemala. Santa Avelina is in the heart of the Ixil Triangle, and Ixil is the name of the indigenous language that the Mayan people who live there speak. I ended up going down for the first time, and just not even as a consultant, I just felt like I wanted to go and see what was happening and visit with teachers. And my Spanish is horrible, so I had an interpreter. We visited and I spent a week there, and what I realized is they didn't have any appropriate print for children to learn to read. So the children were using print material that was developed for adults, and it wasn't even very good for adults. It was just, black and white with no picture cues. And basically, they had an alphabet book, and so kids were learning the alphabet. They were learning to be really good little decoders, but they weren't learning to read for meaning. They weren't learning to read. And so what happened when they started learning Spanish in second grade, they just carried with them those great decoding skills, and they were just decoding like crazy. So even by fifth grade, I listened to them read, and they would just decode, and they'd never stop at a period. They were just, reading without meaning. So in a really naive way, I said, well, what you really have to have is print and Ixil, because we know from the research that kids need to learn in their home language. Well, how are we going to do that? So I said, well, the teachers will need to write and illustrate their own books for beginning readers. And so suddenly I had a project on my hand, and I have a friend, Kathy Haney, who is an illustrator and an artist, and we go down and facilitate writing, illustrating workshops, and the teachers, for the first time, were writing in their own Mayan language, Ixil. They had never formally written in Ixil before. So they had to learn how to do that. That was kind of crazy fun too, because they didn't know how to spell certain words. It took 3 months to decide how to spell the word 20 in Ixil. So the language is emerging as well as a written language, and the teachers are doing all that work. I think we're on about maybe 53 total books now that they have written and illustrated. We're working towards 80, so that there will be one book per week for every first and kindergartner and first grader. And that's kind of what we're after.